All right, what's going on, guys? It is Thursday night, October the 9th. Welcome to the broadcast. This is End Time Headlines, news and headlines from a prophetic perspective. And wow, I wonder what we're going to talk about tonight. Well, I think it's obvious what's on everybody's mind. Obviously, I'm talking about the developments that has taken place over the past 24 hours in regards to the Middle East. This is on the forefront of everybody's thoughts right now. There's a lot of And we want to tackle every angle of this tonight. I'm going to try my best to do this. There is already misinformation circulating all over social media, Facebook, TikTok. It always does. Instagram, YouTube, all of them. In regards to the Antichrist has revealed himself, and he's now signed the covenant with many. In Daniel 9:27, they're referring to Donald Trump, or some are saying even Jared Kushner. And guys, that's not true. We're going to unravel all this tonight. But I also want to show you that not only is this the framework that's being created to get us to Daniel 9:27, but I'm going to show you the next big event to watch out for on the prophetic timetable, in my opinion. And I want to highlight that, my opinion, because look, you could get 12 prophecy teachers, prophecy preachers, those that deal with eschatology. You'll get 12 angles, 12 perspectives, 12 opinions. You'll get different theological perspectives. And that's the beauty of it. As long as they're not preaching heresy, like Jesus Christ is not the Lord and Savior, he's not the Messiah. As long as they're not preaching that kind of heresy, it's okay to have difference of opinions. We just did a podcast with Pastor Tom Hughes where, him and I, we differ in some of these interpretations of Scripture and what they mean, and that's okay. And we've had several guests on that we don't see eye to eye on different things, but we come together and on the majors, okay? And we're not divided over the minors. That's what I'm trying to say tonight. So I get very weary of these prophecy teachers that are so dogmatic, and they want to tell you they're right and everybody else is wrong. I will be the first to tell you. Now, look, in my younger years when we first launched End Time Headlines, in my more I call it my not so mature years of ministry, I'll be the first to tell you that I was one of those individuals that I was humbled, because I thought, well, this is it. This is the way. There's no other, this has to be it. And then as years went by, I realized I was wrong on a lot of areas, or I am more open-minded to others' various forms of interpretations. Now, again, I'm not talking about heresy here. I'm talking about just, again, different angles and perspectives of Bible prophecy. So tonight, we welcome you, and we thank you that you're here and you're watching and listening. And I'm going to try my best to unravel this and show you what I believe is the next big thing on the prophetic timetable. So hang in there. I think you'll enjoy this broadcast. Let's go.
The following program is brought to you by friends and partners of End Time Headlines.
All right, again, welcome, guys. This is End Time Headlines. I'm Ricky Scaparro, the founder and the voice of End Time Headlines, and you're here tonight on this Thursday night, October 9th. It is the 8 p.m. Eastern premiere of this podcast, 7 p.m. Central, depending on where your location or wherever you're from. We want to welcome you, and if this is your first time joining us, let us know in the comments that you're new, or in the chat. If you're in the chat on YouTube, let us know that you're new, where you're tuning in from, and we want to officially welcome you. I say we as in myself and our admins. You'll see them with the little blue wrench. You guys listen by Apple or by Spotify, we welcome you as well. And thank you so much for taking the time out to be a part of these broadcasts. I need everybody to help us out. You guys that are watching the visual of this on YouTube, if you'll hit that like button, help us push this out there. You guys listening by Apple or by Spotify, if you'll just give us a good review, if you enjoy our content, both of these are going to help push us out on these algorithms so people can see or hear or both our programs. If take it a step further on YouTube, subscribe to our channel if you enjoy our content, and hit that bell notification so you can be assured to be notified. All right, here we go. Trump announces Gaza peace deal as Israel and Hamas sign off on, quote, first phase of a landmark plan. All right, let's get you more up to par on this. We're going to get you fully updated on this, and then we'll move forward.
Meanwhile, President Trump's historic announcement being prompted by an urgent note handed by the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, to the president.
Senior White House correspondent Peter Doocy joins us live with the details of that historic moment. Peter.
Good morning, and we can now read that private note that Secretary Rubio handed to President Trump thanks to the long lens of an AP photographer. It said in Marco Rubio's handwriting, "Very close. We need you to approve a Truth Social post soon so you can announce the deal first." Here is how it played in the room during an Antifa town hall.
Well, they're smart, but they're not smart enough. Oh, my microphone's broken. Departments to find the criminal conspiracy.
Okay. I'm just giving. Yeah, I was just given a note by the Secretary of State saying that we're very close to a deal in the Middle East, and they're going to need me pretty quickly.
That never happens here. And even though numbers from Hamas cannot be trusted or verified, tens of thousands of people have been killed in this war and several dozen hostages remain missing. The president says they are all coming home by Monday.
All right, two things. One, that's interesting. He said this never happens here. So this is historic. This is why they're saying this is historic. Number two, I want to hear from you in the chat. That's why, we always want you to engage in these podcasts. Let us know in the live chat. And if you're watching the rebroadcast of this, let us know in the comments below. Do you believe that Hamas is going to hold their end of the deal? It's not like they have a track record of doing so, but nevertheless, this is historic. Let's watch a little bit more of this.
I think you're going to see people getting along, and you'll see Gaza being rebuilt. We're forming a council that the Council of Peace, we think it's going to be called, and it's going to be...
Wow, the Council of Peace. Gaza will be rebuilt. Now, y'all remember that Gaza video that I guess his team released that had all the weird images in it and had the huge giant statue of Donald Trump, and it had the little miniature Trumps going around, and it was raining money on Gaza, and that was very controversial, and a lot of people got upset about that. But again, two things here stands out, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to rebuild Gaza, and number two, they've created what they're calling a Council of Peace.
They're very powerful, and it's going to really, I think to a large extent, it's going to have a lot to do with the whole Gaza situation. People are going to be taken care of. It's going to be a different world. I think really the Middle East came together. Amazingly, they came together. They have some countries with extraordinary wealth, and just spending a small portion of that wealth can do so much for that area.
Wow.
To put into context how long this war has been going on, 2 years, when Hamas launched their attacks on October 7th, Joe Biden was here being interviewed for the first time by the special counsel Robert Hur about his classified documents. It wasn't even the beginning of the end of the Biden presidency when this war started. The world has changed a lot. The president has changed. And now this one, Trump, is going to get credit for his hand in ending an 8th global conflict since he got back to office. Back to you.
Yeah,
And I want let me stop this and let me interject something here, because that right there, did you hear that? This will be his 8th global conflict that he has directly had his hand in and involved in and brought peace to. This is why the second thing that's circulating all over social media, again, all your major social media outlets, is that Donald Trump is the Antichrist. Okay? Because of this. Oh, he's they'll go to Daniel 9:27. Oh, he's signed this covenant of many. Again, ladies and gentlemen, we've told you that Donald Trump is not the Antichrist, number one, and I'm going to stick with that. Now, if things change down the road, again, like I said, I'm open-minded, but right now, I am, if someone was to say, how confident are you? 99.9%. There's maybe a 1% chance that Donald Trump could be the Antichrist. And I base it not upon my opinion, but I based upon my personal interpretations of Scripture, the manifesto of the Antichrist, the region where the Antichrist comes out of, the timing of the Antichrist when he appears. All of that plays into why I believe that Donald Trump doesn't fit the criteria for the Antichrist. Now, again, there is that 1 percentile that I am open-minded to, that I believe that, if I'm wrong down the road, that's okay. I'll be the first to tell you, whoa, I was wrong on this. And he indeed is the Antichrist, but I just don't see that. Number two, we're not in the tribulation, guys. Okay? We're in, based on Matthew 24, we're in the beginning of sorrows. We're in the birth pangs of the Messiah. We're not in the 7-year tribulation. The vials have not been broken. The bowls haven't been opened. The seals haven't been broken. No, we're not in that. Because if that were the case, ladies and gentlemen, we would already see a lot more things than what we're talking about here. We'd see the two witnesses beginning to appear. With the third temple would already be constructed, because you got to remember, the third temple has to be built and fully constructed for the Antichrist to come in and make his seat there. Now, he does that mid-trib, but it's going to take, again, depending on who you listen to, whatever, they're not going to be able to pop up a temple overnight. It's going to take time. There's all the temple procedures to go into that. We've had Monroe Gonzalez on several times, and we've talked about this. He talks about the third temple, and he talks about, and again, this is all speculation, but I want to remind you guys that nowhere in the Bible does it specifically say that a third temple is what's going to usher in the coming of the Lord. It doesn't say that, but we know there is a third temple based on Revelation chapter 11, based on scriptures out of the book of Daniel, based on 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. That's why we discussed that, because I've had people ask me that, why do you prophecy preachers emphasize the third temple when the Bible never says anything specific about it being the thing that ushers in the Messiah? No, that's absolutely true. There is no scripture that says there has to be a third temple to usher in the Messiah. But there is, and there is great evidence, and again, I've referenced these scriptures, that there has to be a temple in place for the Antichrist to set up his headquarters based on, again, Daniel and 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. All right? So that's why we discussed this. So again, look at timing, look at geographical location, and look at all this, and I believe it will tell you that Donald Trump is not the Antichrist, but he is. What's going on right now then, Brother Ricky? You've heard me talk about this. This is all the framework, okay? Now, this is a lot. Now, here, one of the counter arguments that we will get is that, well, there's always been peace accords. There's been the Oslo Accords. There's been accords with Ariel Sharon. There's been some with Yasser Arafat. There's been some with other presidents in history. Yes, there's been a series of treaties. But guys, again, if you've heard me talk about this, in Daniel 9:27, when the Antichrist does arrive, he is going to confirm, solidify, ratify a covenant. He's going to ratify and solidify something that's already been put in place. So this is just yet another brick in the wall, but this one's different. This one is different in many ways. Number one is the timing, okay? When those other accords and those treaties were signed, first of all, they weren't the 7-year treaty, obviously, or we would already be in the tribulation, the church would already be raptured out, and the Antichrist would have already made his appearance. So we know that that's not the case. Second of all, the technology it did not exist in that time as it does now. Now, why does that make a difference, Brother Ricky? Well, here's why it makes a difference. Because remember, once that treaty of Daniel 9:27 is signed, that initiates Jacob's trouble. That initiates the 70th weeks. It initiates the 7-year tribulation. Okay? Then that clock starts ticking. That is why, in my opinion, again, in 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, when the Apostle Paul says, when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction shall come upon him. It's not an immediate thing where in which as soon as he signs this or he confirms this treaty in Daniel 9:27, then boom, the sudden destruction comes. No, the first 42 months or 3.5 years of the tribulation is peace and security, peace and safety. Okay? The sudden destruction that comes is when the world lets down their guard, howbeit Israel will be the main nation that is succumbed to this false sense of security. That's why in Gog-Magog war, Ezekiel 38:39, that war takes place. The prophet says in the latter days of Israel, when they are dwelling in a time of safety, their guard is down, the walls are down, there's no fences, there's no guards, they're living in open borders. Now, you can't say that's going to happen right now because that's nonsense, because there's walls up, there's fences up, there's guards up, and there's no way that prophecy can be fulfilled today as of 2025. This is in the future. So something has to come along, something has to happen, and someone has to come along, and it's going to be the perfect storm that's going to get Israel to lower their guard. And I'm going to tell you what it is. It's a false peace and safety, a false peace and security. If you go to, where is it at? If you go in the Bible and you read in the book, in the book of Ezekiel, it talks about they will come to the table of liars. Liars and talkers will come to the table, and they'll conspire to take captive the land. All this is over land, the Palestinian state, the two-state solution. It's all about Judea and Samaria. And these liars and these snakes will come to these meetings. They'll come to these council meetings, and they'll say things publicly to appease the people, but secretly, behind closed doors, they are conspiring to destroy Israel. Okay? This is why in the book of Revelation, chapter 6, the first rider and horse that comes out of the gate is the white horse and rider, which is the Bible describes him as an individual who has a bow with no arrows. And this is not Jesus Christ. He comes on a white horse, but that's in Revelation 19, and we come with him. Okay? He comes as King of Kings and Lord of Lords. In Revelation chapter 6, this white horse and rider with a bow with no arrows is the Antichrist, and he appears on the scene. And the reason why he has a bow with no arrows is because, again, he comes in a diplomacy of peace. All right? Now, but watch this. Before the Antichrist merges on the scene, something else has to happen. Now, I'm not going to jump into that right now. I got to keep you, we're going to get some more into this because we got some more information about this so-called peace treaty, a peace accord that's been put in place here in the Middle East. So let's get back to this video, and then I'm going to get you to where we really want to get you to tonight, and we're going to talk about what to look for next. Let's go back over here to this video. Let's get some more information on this because especially now as I'm recording this, again, this will premiere in about 5 hours. It's about 3 p.m. Eastern where I'm at. So we've got some new information. We want to get that to you. And then by the time this airs tonight, we should be pretty far up to date.
And that's the one thing, Peter, they seem to be agreement on, that President Trump, I saw Hamas, as well as the Egyptian leader, as well as Qatari, as well as Israel. No one disputes that Trump was the key to this coming together, even though there are a lot of people who deserve a lot of credit.
And when you look at the 20 points that all the sides agreed to, and it seems like there might have been some tweaks here and there, but the big theme was economic. He is promising to take this piece of land, not himself, but with global partners who have reshaped the Middle East over the last decades. He is going to take this piece of land that he calls the Riviera of the Middle East and help redevelop it. He wants to have a hand using his vision as a real estate developer to turn this completely destroyed city into something that can last for generations to come. They are a long way away from that, and it's going to take them years just to clear all of the destruction that you see in some of those images in Gaza. But that is something that finally, after generations in Gaza, got some of these fighters to lay down their arms.
Right. Thanks, Peter. Also,
Okay. Well, first of all, these guys from Fox News are pretty sold on the fact that they think this is going to happen. I'm not. Look, that's great if this happens, but I am not getting my hopes up on, because again, Hamas. It's not like Hamas has got a very good track record of holding to ceasefires and peace negotiations and to their word. Okay, so let's just call it what it is. All right, here's more on the hostages.
Fox News alert: Prime Minister Netanyahu, the Israeli cabinet are set to meet shortly after President Trump announced a historic peace agreement to end the war in Gaza, delivering on one of the biggest campaign promises.
the deal.
Wow, guys, I got to rewind this because I just got chills from this. Look at these people celebrating here in the streets like this. Could you imagine what it's going to be like when the Antichrist confirms that covenant with many in Daniel 9:27? Right there. You see all that celebration and jubilation like that? The whole world will celebrate like this. And they'll be deceived because and think about, and that's the crazy thing about Donald Trump, is that some people are already looking to him as like almost like a Messiah figure. I hate to say that, but it's just the truth, because he's affirmed eight peace negotiations. He's put a stop to 8 wars. This is historic, never been done before. He's put an end to this, and now what this is going to do? It's going to gather more and more people to look up to him. And this is again, I'm not saying he's the Antichrist, ladies and gentlemen. These are, in my opinion, they're prophetic previews. They're snapshots of what we're going to see in the future. Because the Antichrist is going to get up. According to the book of Daniel, this guy is going to speak and utter dark. He's going to solve enigmas and dark sayings. He's going to be a smooth talker. He's going to get up with a silver tongue and he's going to sway people. He's going to persuade people. He's going to have nations dropping their arms. 10 kingdoms, which we're going to get to in just a moment. 10 kingdoms and their kings in 1 hour's time will completely pledge their allegiance to this guy, whoever this Antichrist is. Now, you tell me this guy ain't going to have influence? You tell me this guy is not going to have some kind of a political dominance and military dominance in the world? Yeah, buddy, he's going to have it. So let's go back to this.
Historic peace agreement to end the war in Gaza, delivering on one of the biggest campaign promises.
The deal, which will be rolled out in phases, requires Hamas to release all 48 of the remaining hostages, dead and alive. And the president says we could see them return home very soon.
Okay.
So much is happening to get the hostages freed, and we think they'll all be coming back on Monday. So
really, Monday. So all right, so what is today? Thursday? So let's see if that's true. Let's see if that happens on Monday.
Looks like that's the thing, and that'll include the bodies of the dead, and the parents that I talked to so many of them, but the parents are almost more intent, but equally intent is getting in just about all cases their son's body back than they are as though the young man was alive. It's just the same intensity. They want their baby's body back. That's what one woman said. I want my baby's body back. And, the son is 25, 26 years old. So that's a very big part of it.
And this morning, we're seeing images all over Israel of people celebrating in relief now that the war appears to be over and the hostages set to return home. We now wait to see if Hamas honors its part of the deal.
Right.
Lots of celebrations in Tel Aviv, especially in Hostage Square, waving even the American flags. We saw one person dressed up as Donald Trump waving the Israeli flag.
See, I told you. It's weird, guys. It's weird.
As well.
That
It's just
stuff's
felt all around
disturbing.
the world. The UK Prime Minister was thanking Donald Trump, and Benjamin Netanyahu was too, and also thanking the IDF soldiers who have fought valiantly for 2 years.
I mean, Brian, it's one thing to make this a campaign promise. It's another to deliver on something that has plagued the world for a long time. Even before this war, there was tension.
But guys, it hasn't been delivered yet. These guys are jumping the gun. There's no hostages have been released. You guys are jumping the gun. These people are acting like it's a done deal. It's not. Hamas, we'll see. We'll wait till Monday at
in
least.
the Middle East, couldn't get these parties to sit down, and he found some way to unite the Arab world, Muslim world, with the Israelis to get this deal done. And everything I'm hearing is,
I mean, guys, am I wrong? Let me know in the comments what you think about this. Are they jumping the gun, or am I wrong on saying, wait a minute, let's pump the brakes here a little bit and wait and see what Monday brings? Can we not say that this was a done deal until Hamas meets their end of the deal and what they've agreed to, the 20-point plan? I mean,
the
it's
turning
weird.
point was the strike in Qatar, and you see that historic photo of the president holding the landline as he passes the phone to Netanyahu to issue some sort of an apology, and from there, they were able to broker peace.
Yeah, it looks like you got to give credit to Qatar, got to give credit to Turkey coming in at the last minute, Egypt for hosting and playing a role, all pushing towards an end. And yesterday it was reported that they were contacting the president and said it would be great for you to come to Egypt for the signing of this. And he essentially said, yeah, I'll do that. And now he's going to seem to go there, maybe Monday, Tuesday. And then he's been invited to.
Okay, so the president of the United States looks to be going to the Middle East. Now, some reports say he's going to Jerusalem. Others say he's going to Egypt.
To address the Knesset as the most powerful politician maybe in Israel history. He's going to go down there and address them and maybe bolster the political fortunes of Prime Minister Netanyahu, who people blame for allowing the attack to happen, but have to salute him for how he's handled it since. Neutralizing Hezbollah, taking out Iran's or hindering Iran's nuclear program, doing tremendous damage to the Houthi rebels, and virtually annihilating Hamas. These are the enemies, declared enemies of the Israeli people.
So there are 48 hostages. 20 of them we believe are still alive, 28 presumed dead. And of those that we think might not be alive anymore are 2 Americans. Their names are Itai Hen and Omer Nutra. And we did speak with Itai's father earlier in the show. Listen to this.
It's a mixed bag of emotions. There's the excitement, finally having hostages coming out, anticipation, but also anxiety because it's not 100% that all the 48 hostages are going to be coming out. So there are some that will be somehow left behind because they will not be able to find them. So we are still waiting to get confirmation that Itai, one of the 2 remaining U.S. citizens, indeed will be taken care of and will be able to come out. President Trump has done a wonderful job in bringing back hostages, U.S. hostages from all over.
Guys, it's driving me nuts. It hasn't happened yet. They're talking as if it's been done, and it's not done yet. And they're saying Monday, so it's unbelievable.
U.S. hostages any place should be a liability, not an asset. And there should be consequences for those people that take U.S. citizens. And I like to point out, 46 U.S. citizens were killed on that October 7th. And I'm speaking on behalf of them as well, and those people want to see justice.
So they're collecting the hostages now. This Saudi TV channel, Al Arabiya, the Cairo Bureau, reports that Hamas has started moving the hostages to secure locations in preparation for them being handed over in the next coming days.
Okay, well, that's good. If that's true, that's a good sign.
And they do confirm there's approximately 20 living hostages. Approximately and living, that's a huge, that's an issue that's got to be ironed out.
One of the things that has become a point of contention, but the Israelis end up agreeing to was the exchange of the hostages for the terrorist fighters that are in the prison. And there's still some trepidation from the Israelis because they remember in 2011 when the Israeli soldier Eli Shalit was captured and they exchanged him for 1,000 fighters of Hamas, one of them being the orchestrator of now October the 7th, Yahya Sinwar. And so people are saying, okay, this is why we need this peacekeeping force and we have to be strong with it, that the weapons have to be taken away from Hamas because they don't want the same thing to happen again.
Yeah, absolutely. And everyone say a prayer for Itai because his dad said they do believe there hasn't been any proof of life. But he said, please, pray for my son because we're hoping for a miracle that he does come home alive, which would be wonderful. But his dad said that he has dual citizenship in the U.S. and Israel. And he went to go serve in the IDF, and they believe he was killed on the border. And then his body was taken into Gaza. But his dad said he's a former Boy Scout. He loves basketball. He loves video games. And his parents either want a proper burial for him or they're hoping to be surprised and he comes home alive, which would be great.
We're praying for some good news. An extremely rare moment unfolding on the word of the historic deal, both Israelis and Palestinians celebrating in the streets.
And Steve Harrigan joins us now. He's in Tel Aviv as the officials are preparing for all of these hostages to come home. Steve?
That's right, Ainsley. Officials and medical personnel, too, at two of the top hospitals here, they are ready to receive the hostages if necessary. After 2 years of brutal captivity, in case any urgent care is needed, they are ready to help. The news across Israel about this peace deal broke about 3 o'clock in the morning. People immediately began streaming out of their houses into the street, many gathering at Hostages Square to really celebrate. A couple of rainstorms has not stopped the crowd from growing throughout the day. In about 2 hours' time, we expect to see a cabinet meeting. That cabinet likely to sign off on the Trump peace deal. After that sign-off, there will be a ceasefire in place in Gaza, and then the IDF, Israeli Defense Forces, will withdraw to the first of 2 lines inside of Gaza. After that, the hostages, 48 of them expected to be released, and we could see some remarkable family reunions, including a father and his son.
All right, so they're repeating a lot of this, but this is the initial phase, where they're calling this phase 1 of this quote-unquote peace plan in the Middle East. Now, again, according to reports, Trump is heading to Jerusalem this weekend on Sunday, in the first stage of this historic and unprecedented peace deal is done. All right, according to the report, Trump is expected to meet with with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and deliver a major address to the Knesset, Israel's parliament in Jerusalem. Egyptian president has also invited Trump to visit Israel, given that the final round of negotiations took place in the Red Sea resort and that 2 years of talks have now been conducted in Cairo. However, at this point, there is no indication from the White House that Trump will visit Egypt. Rather, he wants to, quote, speak directly to the people of Israel, America's most, quote, trusted and faithful ally in the region and the target of Iran's 7-front war. Quote, I'm expected to arrive in Israel in the coming days, according to, he told a reporter from Axios. They want me to speak in Knesset, and I will definitely do so if they want it that way. My conversation with Bibi was great. He is happy, and rightfully so. This is a big achievement. The whole world rallied. Look at that. The whole world rallied to reach this agreement, including countries that were previously enemies. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that verbiage right there is prophetic, is absolutely prophetic. That's why this is a big deal. That's why we're talking about this. Now, look at this report. Quote, has Trump just won the Nobel Peace Prize at the last minute? This historic Gaza deal agreed hours before judges announced who wins the award Donald Trump has been coveting since his election. Speculation is mounting that Trump has just secured the Nobel Peace Prize after he brokered the historic peace agreement between Israel and Hamas to end the 2-year war in Gaza. Both sides have agreed to the first phase of this plan, and I don't want to rehash all of this. Again, I want to reiterate that there is speculation. This is not confirmed as 100% yet, but there's speculation mounting that Trump has just secured the Nobel Peace Prize after brokering this historic peace agreement. And again, this is something that he's coveted since his election. Now that we've established all this, what is happening now, let's get to where where are we going? This is what we got to, before the Antichrist, I want you to hear me and clean your ears out and be sure to pay attention to this very closely. According to Daniel chapter 7, there is what's described as a fourth beast that will arise. Daniel described it as terrifying and has 10 horns, which is interpreted as 10 kings that will arise from this kingdom. Okay, let me read this. Revelation 13, verses 1 through 4. Then I stood on the sand of the sea, and I saw a beast rising up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and on his horns 10 crowns, and on his heads a blasphemous name. This is the Antichrist, by the way. And now the beast which I saw was like a leopard. His feet were like the feet of a bear, and his mouth like the mouth of a lion. The dragon, that's Satan, gave him his power and his throne will be in Jerusalem in the temple, and great authority. He'll have that authority for 42 months or 3.5 years. And I saw one of his heads as if it had been mortally wounded. Heads, plural tense, not the head on his shoulders, ladies and gentlemen, as the Left Behind series portrayed it. That's false. The Antichrist will not be shot in the head and raised from the dead. That is not biblical. That makes great, it makes good books and it makes good movies. But one of his heads wounded is one of his empires. Okay, it will be mortally wounded, but the deadly wound will be healed. It will rise again, and the world will marvel and follow the beast. He's going to persuade the world to follow him. So they worship the dragon who gave authority to the beast, and worship the beast, saying, who is like the beast, who is able to make war with him? Make no doubts about it, guys. The Antichrist will be a warring leader. He will be a person of great influence and power and military might. And that's why the people will say, who is able to make war with him? Now stop. Trump wants to be known as a peacemaker. He's coveted the Nobel Peace Prize. He's established peace in 8 locations. Again, you see the contrast here. All right. So that's why I said, I don't believe Trump is the Antichrist. I believe he is an instrument that is preparing the way for the Antichrist, establishing the framework for the Daniel 9:27 treaty or covenant with many. All right. Let's read on here. In Nebuchadnezzar's, remember when Nebuchadnezzar had the dream of he saw the series of empires. He saw the head of gold, the chest and arms of silver, the belly of thighs and bronze, and then the legs of iron. Remember that? And then Daniel interprets these for him and tells him the head of gold represented the Babylonian Empire, and after him will come the Medes and Persians. Then came the Grecian Empire led by Alexander the Great. And then the 2 legs of iron ended up being Rome, that ended up splitting east and west. And then you get down to the feet that are partially clay and partially iron. Now, again, there's much speculation about this. Out of these, you have these 10 toes. Out of this will come, listen to me carefully, 10 kingdoms ruled by 10 kings. Both Daniel and John references them. Okay? It is very likely that these 10 kings and kingdoms will emerge out of the European Union or the revised Roman Empire. But here's something interesting. When you examine these kingdoms that once formed the Roman Empire, they are no longer pro-Western nations. Okay? But now you see Egypt, Ethiopia, Libya, Lebanon, Jordan, Morocco, Syria, Turkey. That's what you're seeing now. So this is why there is a divided camp of thought on this. You've got I call it the old school traditional thought that this will be European Union nations, westernized nations that will form this European revised Roman Empire. That'll be the 10 kings. But then you have another camp that speculate that these could be Middle Eastern nations or Muslim nations that will be these 10 toes, okay? And that's why I said pay attention to the Abraham Accords, because there was a lot of Muslim nations, Arab nations in that accord. We did a whole podcast on that. And I said, is it possible that the 10 kings could emerge out of the Abraham Accords? Keep an eye on it, guys. That's all I'm saying. Just watch. Now, here's the key. In case you haven't figured it out yet, watch this. After these 10 kings are established, Daniel sees a little horn that emerges from among them. And that little horn, all theologians and biblical scholars that are sound in teaching all agree that that is the Antichrist that emerges from among them. He uproots and subdues 3 of the original 10, which is Egypt, Libya, and Ethiopia. Now let me show you this. This is Daniel 7:24. Here's what Daniel saw. The 10 horns, what does he say here? Are 10 kings, all right? Who shall arise from this kingdom? What kingdom? This is that 4th and dreadful beast that Daniel saw, right? Remember, it was partially leopard and then part of a bear. And again, it's that Grecian Empire right there, the Assyrian Grecian Empire. And another shall arise after them, okay? Daniel saw 7 empires of Bible prophecy. John saw 8, okay? He shall be different from the first ones and shall subdue 3 of the kings. This right here is the Antichrist that rises up and subdues 3 of these kings. And again, according to Scripture, it's going to be Egypt, Libya, and Ethiopia. Now let's take you over here. Let's go over to the book of Revelation and let me show you what John saw about this. Gets real interesting. But the angel said unto me, why did you marvel? I will tell you the mystery of the woman and of the beast that carries her, which has the 7 heads and the 10 horns. Verse 8, the beast that you saw was and is not and will ascend out of the bottomless pit and go into perdition. Was, past tense, is not, present tense, when John wrote that 95 AD, will ascend, future tense. Was, is not, and will ascend. That's important. And those who dwell on the earth will marvel, whose names are not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world, when they see the beast that was and is not and yet is. Remember, in John's day, ladies and gentlemen, who was the leading empire of the world? Talk to me. It was Rome. He was exiled to the Isle of Patmos in Rome, okay? They were the leading power. But he knew after them, he knew after the 2 legs, when he goes back and he understands the prophet Daniel, he knows that there's coming a 7th empire which will last a short space. I'm going to show you this here in a minute. And that 7th empire is these 10 kings. We're not there yet, ladies and gentlemen. That's, in my opinion, that's the next big step that we're heading into. We need to be watching and paying attention and observing for these 10 kings and kingdoms. Why? Because the Antichrist, they have to be established in the earth first for the Antichrist to rise up among them. Let me read on here. Verse 9, here is the mind which has wisdom, the 7 heads and 7 mountains on which the woman sits. There are also 7 kings. Here it is, 5 have fallen. All right, John tells us, this is important that you catch this. 5 have fallen. Who are those 5 that have fallen? The Egyptian Empire, the Assyrian Empire, the Babylonian Empire, the Medes and Persians, and the Grecian Empire. 5 have fallen. 1 is present tense, 95 AD, John's day. The one that is was Rome. 5 have fallen. 1 is, that's Rome. And what does he say after that? Here it is. 5 have fallen. 1 is, and the other has not yet come. The 7th empire has not come. It hasn't formed yet. And watch this. And when he comes, he must continue a short time. I'm going to tell you how long this short time is. 42 months. That 7th empire will last for 42 months, which will be those 10 kings that established in that empire. And then watch this. When the Antichrist emerges out of the midst of them and uproots 3 of them, that's when he forms his own empire, ladies and gentlemen. And it becomes and look, I'm in the book. Let's read on here. One is, the other has not yet come, and when he comes, he continues a short time. Verse 11, the beast that was and is not and is himself also, what does it say here, ladies and gentlemen? The eighth and final empire, and is of the 7. Why is he of the 7? Because he emerges out of the 7. He will rise out of the 7th empire by prophecy. And when he uproots 3, come on, the 10 kingdoms will surrender to him in 1 hour. Read it, verse 12. Then the 10 horns which you saw are 10 kings who have received no kingdom as of yet, but they have received authority for 1 hour as kings with the beast. These are of one mind, and they will give their power and authority over to the beast. Ladies and gentlemen, when that happens, they will form with the Antichrist the 8th and final empire of Bible prophecy, and that will be the empire that will rule from Jerusalem and the Temple Mount. So listen, I'm trying to tell you and I know everybody's getting excited, and the Antichrist is here, and we've entered the tribulation, and now this and that. No, everybody takes a deep breath, calm down, and we need to be looking for, watch this, we need to be looking for the emergence of the 7th empire of Bible prophecy. That's what I'm going to be paying attention to. Now, let me go to this peace and safety thing, because I've seen people talk about this. Well, now that there's peace and safety, sudden destruction shall come upon them. And where are they getting that? They're getting that out of 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, okay? Now, I want to address that. Number one, I believe there's a lot of scripture, guys, that there's a primary interpretation, and then there could be what's called a secondary interpretation. The primary interpretation of that, I believe, is directly correlated with Daniel 9:27. When he signs that treaty, when he reaffirms, when he solidifies and ratifies that treaty of Daniel 9:27 for 7 years, that is going to enter us into the peace and safety that I believe Paul was referring to. Primary interpretation. And then it'll be 42 months of peace and then sudden destruction. But a secondary part of this can be, now watch this, if you believe that these prophetic wars and I don't want to say Gog and Magog, because that comes, I believe that war, again, as I've already said, that comes after that treaty's broken, okay? But I believe that if you believe this Psalm 83 war, if you believe that has not happened yet, then you know what that tells me? And let's bring Isaiah 17 into it. When Syria becomes a ruinous heap, that hasn't happened yet either. So watch this, that means that it's very likely that this solidified peace treaty will last for a while, but it's going to fall apart. Just like every other ceasefire and every other treaty in history that's ever been established, they last for a while and then they fall apart. Then they topple. Okay, that's why there's going to be a series of these things leading up until the official ratification or solidification of Daniel 9:27. All right, so I'm just throwing out some angles to this, because what I really wanted you to do, guys, is just to get you thinking about this and watch for this stuff. This is exciting. This is exciting stuff. Jesus said in Luke 21:28, when you begin to see all of these things coming to pass, what's he say? Look up and lift up your heads, because your redemption is drawing near. So what are we going to do? We're going to continue to watch. We're going to continue to pray. We're going to continue to pray that we're found worthy to escape all of these things that shall come upon the earth and stand before the Son of Man. Luke 21. But until the meantime, we remain faithful to the Lord. Stay in His Word. Stay in prayer. Get your oil in your lamp on a prophetic timetable. Look and watch for the establishment of those 10 kings in the earth, because that, my friend, if the church is still here, okay? Again, I'm open to interpretations depending on your views, theologically speaking, of the timing of the rapture. If the church is still here, I've just showed you what to look for the emergence of the Antichrist that will rise out of those 10 kings that will be established. If the church is taken out of the way, then we will not be here to see the emergence and the arrival of the Antichrist that rises up out of those 10 kings. Again, it depends on where you are in your view and your theological perspective of the timing of the rapture. Now, if you don't believe in a rapture, then obviously you believe the church is going to be here through all of it. And that's your opinion. That's fine. But we have ours, you have yours, whatever the case would be. We're still brothers and we're still sisters in Christ. Amen. So listen, guys, I hope this has been a great talk. I hope you've enjoyed this as much as I have to talk about it. Let me know your feedback in the comments, as always, in the chat. And as always, guys, if this ministry blesses you and encourages you, it informs you, it equips you on a day-to-day basis, and we're here usually typically 5 to 6 days a week, and you enjoy our content and you'd like to know more about partnering with our ministry, we want to show you this real quick clip, and we'll be right back. Check it out.
If you enjoy our content and would like to partner with End Time Headlines, helping us make more people aware of the times and seasons which we are in from a prophetic perspective, you can go to endtimeheadlines.org and click Support. Here you can give a one-time gift or a monthly pledge on our main website. This page also shows you how to give electronically through Cash App or Venmo. If you would like to give by check or money order, you can make it out to End Time Headlines at P.O. Box 1391, Monroe, Georgia 30655. Or you can give through our free End Time Headlines app by pressing the bottom right button that says Donate.
All right, guys, so we're going to wrap this up for this Thursday night. And also, guys, I want to let you know, if for whatever reason, maybe you're new and you don't know, we do have a free app, and it's available on Apple and Android devices. Just go to your Play Store, whatever that looks like for you, download it today. If you're watching in the video of this, in the description, there's a link there. You can download our app, hit yes to push notifications, and that's gonna right there at your fingertips, and it's free. You'll be able to be notified of all these prophecy updates and these headlines and the breaking news, and everything will be right there at your fingertips. So, guys, this is going to make a wrap for this Thursday night. We're going to sign off. We plan on being back here tomorrow night on Friday, October the 10th. And that's probably going to wrap it up for this week. I'm going to purposely take off this week unless something major happens. I don't plan on being here on the weekend because I need to rest my body. And we've also got company coming in from out of town, so we're just going to rest and relax, and then we'll be right back here on Monday. So again, tomorrow night, we'll plan on being here Friday night, the 10th of October, and we'll be off on the weekend, and then we'll resume our podcast next week on Monday, which will be the 13th, I believe, or somewhere around there, again on 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. So until we see you guys on the next one, I pray the Lord bless you, keep you, and may his countenance shine upon you. We'll see you then.
Thank you for listening to the End Time Headlines podcast. We pray that you've been blessed and equipped by today's message. For more information about how you can help partner with our ministry, please visit endtimeheadlines.org.